I hate thrips. I hate them. I just found thrip larvae on one of my Antheriums in my cabinet. So I'm going to be cleaning that out later. That's always fun, but I'm not going to panic. Pests are just known to happen with plants. I used to get more like paranoid about plant pests, but then I realized it's just going to happen, and you know, just treat and manage, and that's all you can really do. But it's on one of the plants I'm going to show you today. Welcome back, you guys. My name's Melissa if you're new here, and I'm really excited because today's video is going to be part 2 of plants that are uncommon that I absolutely love. I have 7 plants here to show you that are not really that common. I don't really see them a lot, so I think I want to show them off a little bit more in this video, and one of them is just like my favorite plant in my collection, my pride and joy. So let's start with that one. This is my pride and joy plant in my collection. This one is more of a rare plant. It's not common at all. Anyone who knows me knows I love monsteras. This is a Monstera aria, and the newest leaf it gave me is fenestrated. It has the gorgeous yellow variegation. Do you see how stunning that is? So I got this as a 2-leaf prop here. The bottom 2 leaves were the propagation, and this was the first leaf in my care. And then this leaf, and this leaf. This was the next leaf, and then this is the most latest leaf. And I just think the variegation is just stunning on this plant. So it was expensive. These are an expensive plant, but if you love Monstera and want to collect them, it's a plant that I think is a must-have if you love variegated plants and love that yellow variegation. This plant is absolutely stunning, and it's growing really well. It's put out 2 leaves in the past month here. I can already tell the stem is getting pregnant again, and it just unfurled this leaf. So I don't know, it's liking the slow release fertilizer and the light I'm giving it or something, but it's so happy and it makes me really happy. I love this plant so much. The next plant I'm going to show you is one of my favorites as well. This is a philodendron. It is a velvety leaf philo, and it's very similar to a glorious or micans in a way with that, you know, texture. But this is a Philodendron Splendid, and you guys, I can't tell you how gorgeous these leaves are. That's one of the new ones it gave me. And this is currently on one of my moss poles. So I want big, huge, velvety leaves of this plant. I put it on probably last month on the pole, and it's working on lots of new little leaves. I have several stems in here, so I cannot wait for this guy to grow. It does seem to be pushing out new growth now that it's kind of been situated in the pot. It is a must-have plant in my collection. If you love micans and love those velvety leaves, you are going to love this plant. Now, a splendid is a cross between a Philodendron melanochrysum and a Philodendron verrucosum. This is a hybrid of those two, and if you didn't know, those other 2 are a little bit more of a picky plant. So if you struggle with those, I highly recommend getting a hybrid version because they're a lot easier to care for. This is such an easy philo, and the leaves are just gorgeous. One more look. I highly recommend. I don't see this plant enough. I love it so much. The next plant I'm going to show you is a new fave because it's recently started growing for me a little bit better, and it's another velvety leaf philo that I don't see posted very much or talked about very much, and I am obsessed. The leaf shape and the underside of the leaves and the velvety texture is just to die for. So this is a philodendron as well. It's a Philodendron El Choco Red. Look at that leaf. Do you see how dark and velvety and gorgeous that is? This is the newest one it just gave me. It's still kind of hardening a bit, but it is absolutely stunning. I don't know if you can see the underside, how red it is. Do you see? And it does have a new growth point. And I just love this philodendron. I got this originally as a top cut propagation, and it lost all the original leaves. It had 4 leaves. They all died. For some reason, this plant has struggled in my care, but it seems to be situated and happy. So I'm not going to mess with it. I repotted it after I moved here, and it feels like it's getting a little bit root bound. So I might repot it at some point and get it staked up because I don't have it staked yet. This one is more expensive than the Splendid. If you want a velvety philo, I definitely recommend the Splendid. If you want to splurge a little bit more, then I would recommend getting the El Choco Red because I just love it. It's a little bit more of a finicky plant in my opinion, just because I struggled with it. But I recommend if you really want more velvety phylos in your collection. This next plant, you guys, I grew this from a single leaf cut propagation. And I'm gonna put a picture of what it looked like when I first got it. This is the original leaf. And this is actually a philodendron as well. This is a strawberry shake. This is not a cheap plant by any means, so that's why I was able to get a cutting. I got this locally like way before I moved. And look at all this growth. I have so many new leaves and they're starting to get bigger. This is the latest leaf it gave me. And look at that one, that half moon. It has a beautiful variegation, and look at that half moon little leaf. It's working on a new one. This one I actually do keep in my cabinet, and I just think it's a beautiful philo. It is just stunning, the leaves. So I understand why it's a bit expensive, but now that it's growing for me, I might have to show this plant off more and do a post about it. One, I'm just really happy that I grew this from a single cutting, and I love how it's growing now. So I'm going to probably get him staked on a better support eventually here, kind of once he hits the top of this. I'll have to figure out what kind of support I want this plant to grow on. I love it. It's growing really fast. Yeah, I think this whole top section has been new since moving, and it's pushing out a new leaf here, and you can already see there's like a new growth point there. It's expensive, it's not common, but if you again love variegated plants and phylos, it's been really easy care, so it's worth it in my opinion, and it's absolutely gorgeous. This next plant is not too expensive, and you guys, you have to get this plant in your collection. If you do not own this plant, you need it in your life. Trust me, it is so easy and stunning. And you can actually find these, I feel like, relatively inexpensive, or at least a cutting you can get pretty cheap, and they grow so fast. So this is a Epipremonum ponatum albo. If you ever see mature leaves on these guys, that is my goal, to get beautiful split variegated leaves of this plant. It is absolutely stunning. I'm really lucky that mine has beautiful variegation. So I recently took cuttings. So this is the plant that I put on the pole recently, and this is the main plant that I chopped to do cuttings on the pole, and it's already growing back. But I want to show you up close how beautiful the variegation is. These leaves already have tiny little holes, you know, beginning to form, because they do get those split leaves. But it is absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait for this one to climb. And this is my mother plant, and it is growing back here since I chopped it. That's the newest leaf. I think it did activate a couple nodes after I chopped. Yeah, because you can see I chopped here at the top. This is where I chopped, and it does have a node here that's activating, and this is a new node that activated from the chop. So this is just completely new growth, and then the original spot should start growing back. But it is so easy, it's not super expensive, and if you love these type of variegated plants, you are going to love this. I care for this like pretty much all my other phylos. Wait for the soil to dry, chunky mix. They're not super finicky. Besides the El Choco, I find that one a little bit more finicky. But you guys, I'm in love with this plant. It's one of my favorite plants just because I love the leaf shape, I love the split leaves, and I cannot wait for it to grow for me. Plant number 6 is going to be a Syngonium. I have probably 9 or 10 Syngoniums in my collection, and again, I don't feel any Syngoniums get enough love. To me, I don't feel like people are into Syngoniums like some other plants, which is really sad because they're beautiful, and I love Syngoniums. But this one is called a Syngonium baltic. Look at those leaves. I am so in love with this Syngonium. This was a recent chop and prop project. That's why it looks so full right now. So it's really starting to grow and take off. It's already getting root bound again because I repotted him recently. I'm gonna have to probably upsize this plant at some point. I stuffed so many props in here, so it is full. But it has so much growth, and the leaf color is just so vibrant and beautiful. And this plant is so easy too. This one is very inexpensive. I feel like you could get a small plant or a cutting very easily, but I don't see it talked about enough or shown enough, and it's beautiful. Like the veining, let me show you the veining. Do you see that? It is so beautiful. It's a beautiful plant. I can't wait for this one to grow and get big for me. So I recommend the Syngonium as far as care-wise. It's not picky. It grows really fast. I just love it. So I recommend this one for sure. The last plant I'm going to show you is an Antherium because it's a hybrid, it's not common, but it's one of my favorites. And it's one that I found thrifts on. So I'm going to briefly show it and put it back in my cabinet until I can treat the cabinet because I don't have time to treat it right now. So let me show you real quick. This is my Antherium hybrid. It's a cross between a Antherium crystallinum and an Antherium magnificum. Look at these leaves. So this is the newest one it's working on. These three, so this one, this one, this one, and this one are all new since moving recently, and it has 3 baby little leaves. And you guys know my Antheriums are just growing like crazy, but for some reason there's thrip larvae on this plant, and I think it came from the sphagnum moth. But this Antherium, you guys, look at that leaf. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm obsessed. This leaf is gonna get even bigger because it's still hardening. This one is beautiful. I just love the leaf shape on that. I haven't really seen this hybrid much at all, and it's just gorgeous. So I got mine locally before I moved, like last year sometime. But if you can get this hybrid, it grows really fast in my cabinet and it's beautiful. It's sizing up nicely. And I don't really find this one too finicky at all, but I love it. And yeah, I'm really sad. I hope the thrips aren't too bad on this plant. But yeah, I just love this one. So that is it. That is all the plants that, you know, I absolutely love that are not very common. I don't see that much. And some may be a little bit harder to get a hold of and more expensive, but I love them and I'm really glad they're in my collection. You guys voted for me to do a part 2 on this, so I'm really happy to share these with you, and I hope you learned a little bit more about them and my opinion on them. I just love all of these, really. Of course, the Phylos and Monsteras are my absolute favorite, but the Epipremonum is seriously growing on me and I just adore it, as well as my Antheriums. You'll have to let me know which one was your favorite down below. I'm actually curious to know. And yeah, thank you so much for watching another video. I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, and I will talk to you all very soon.